Oh, ether. That stuff that makes your soul burn slow. There's room for two in here.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair, aggressively so. You get the sense that this is what the future will look like. Imbecilic, yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic, like this guy. His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse, Noid.
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
And Egghead. Egg!
He yells. The tape player high above his head continues to blast strange music. Well, you playing a little bit of Tech 9?
Together with a Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers.
Wait, how many music venues have you organized?
We have many in the pipeline, officer.
That means they haven't set up a single one yet.
Why are you here?
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues.
No need, the place is pretty bad.
Which brings me to the problem of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast.
Ecclesiastical property. What the suckafu? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the church. And I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads! Burnouts!
He angrily spits on a screw and starts cleaning it.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that, in Revachol.
Strike that! The word!
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts hold up in there are the worst kind.
Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
What kind?
The spooky kind.
What exactly do you mean by spooky?
I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre and a place of spiritual refuge.
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse. People just wanna spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that.
Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for.
Ecclesiastes. I'll look into it. Tell me more.
All right, man.
He claps his hands enthusiastically.
Andre's obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchanged giddy looks.
Alright. We might come back to this.
Oh, you should have the key. We had to padlock the door to the church to keep more vagrants from wandering in. Noid, give the officer the key.
All right.
Let it fall to the ground. Oh, the speed freak dips into his belt pack and produces a yellow key. He then makes a sudden cool infused move, tossing it in your general direction. But I need a 5 and a 4, and it's not gonna happen. Let it fall to the ground, then pick it up like a normal adult person.
Noid watches you pick up the key with a smirk.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
We'll be here. I don't know if I'm gonna help them start a nightclub, but it sure would pass the time. Man, I was supposed to mark like 12 years ago. It's all some posts over here that we're lighting up. That's weird. Yeah, they're... Oh, it's raining. The other side. Spend more time in that tent than you cared to admit. You know, I haven't heard a great deal of the music, but seems like a good track.
A pane of Eternite has been planted into the snow. 2 poles are holding it up. Barely holding it up. It could fall over any minute. A stronger gust of wind might be enough.
What's this?
It looks like a makeshift bridge. Could be convenient.
The pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk.
You're right, Kitsuragi. That was convenient. There's some money over here. As Sinesis would say, your boy got money. Look at that. 30. Got the money. And where the suckle-foo am I? I was off in the ocean of who knows where.
An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while. You see a handle.
What is this thing anyway?
It's military. A service depot of some sort.
Used to service what?
Probably something that is no longer there.
Oh, the lieutenant looks at the hunching concrete toad in front of him. And where am I going? Vented scarf. You make a mental note. I'm gonna forget that mental note. Do you know who this is? Okay. What to do, what to do, what to do. I guess we can see what's going on with the vagrants.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
And the padlock with the key.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area, its black holes and dusty machines. Then the feeling passes. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum. In the heart of the city,
This is honestly not what I was expecting to see in here.
the silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Wait, I think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it, but for the faintest of hums. It seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow, if not blotted out outright. Truly unusual. You can hardly hear your own breathing.
On my feet and clap my hands.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
I don't like this. But we'll yell as loud as we can.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
What's happening?
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Not really. It's extraordinary. I've never experienced anything like this.
I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing, on its premises.
They wanted to discourage singing and dancing.
Could be.
He doesn't seem entirely convinced, though.
Up at the bell tower.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
All right, I need a 5, 2, and a 3. Come on, let's give it.
It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
Feeling?
Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away.
All of the shadow's movements.
It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
The lieutenant follows your gaze, attempting to see whatever it is that you are seeing.
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. Where did it go?
Blink.
You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes.
Is it named Tiago?
Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
This is creepy.
The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently.
Be quiet for now.
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in general. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesks in Rivershaw.
Right place for what?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Yeah, I guess I have a bit of a problem, and it's been getting out of hand lately, but...
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence, and you don't even know it.
Oh, I'm very in touch with my suffering.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
For some reason, I feel like you have a point there.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes.
His voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
Sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he just trying to throw you off your game? 'Tis not an act, my liege. Saving perchance he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Did you just climb down from the church tower?
Sure did, Holmes.
Are you human? You weren't moving like a human.
I am, at least in part, Holmes. Until the mother's love burns away the cruel distinctions of the body.
Sound like you're not from around here.
Haven't you ever met a Mex before? Cabron. Surprising number of us around Ravishaw.
What's Mesk?
You know, I'm not so sure myself anymore. Don't really matter, though.
Well, at least you're human. That's a relief.
Glad you're feeling more comfortable. First-timers are always nervous.
Okay, I have other questions.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
What are you doing here?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there, a way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
Who's this mother of silence you keep talking about?
Oh, that's no simple question, I said. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
What will happen once you drink from this perforation?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
I don't understand what you're doing in the church.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
Doesn't really make sense for you to sing if she's the mother of silence.
I don't mean literal singing, Holmes. This is the mother of silence we're talking about. It's the singing of a burning heart. You may be thinking, but fire crackles. No, Holmes. That's the material that's burning. The flames themselves are without sound.
How did you even find this place, this church?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't belong to me.
Right, I had other questions.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
You've been here a long time. Do you know why the church was abandoned?
Police raid a while back.
He responds, his voice suddenly flat.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
You know where the other spooker is? Point at the strange machines around you.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Viejita is grandma?
Wait, so there is another person living in the church, and it's a viejita?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
And you don't know where she is?
That's what I said, Holmes.
How can you not know when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
You've got nothing else to tell me. How she looks, what she does, who is she?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or...
Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me.
Wait, do they have a reason to be scared?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
So what do you think about the nightclub, that is?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Wait, but I wanted to keep talking about that.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me.
Oh, okay.
Why not? Might even be nice.
He said that in spite of himself.
All right. Okay, then.
He's more
Thanks.
attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Okay, that was... Honestly, that perfectly encapsulates just how weird this game actually is. It really, really does.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on.
It seems cautious around the machine.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Hey, let me just investigate it.
You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed.
Look inside.
Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March.
I feel like I should come back to this someday.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day.
I was going to say that, but I was trying to think of her name. I didn't think they were going to just throw it out there right there, because I just had a history lesson on Dolores Day yesterday where I answered Dolores Day several times.
Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
I was going to say, why are her lungs glowing? Or whatever. No.
Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the glass. Snowdrifts cover the floorboards at your feet. Above, you feel her multicolored eyes on you, as if under a microscope.
I saw you right here and I just totally ignored that. Look up.
The woman looks down at you standing there. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye. Of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You.
It's morning.
As that terrible word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder.
Same.
Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times as you stand in the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles, her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
I've read the book. Yeah, look at that. Read The Greatest Innocence. Do I get experience for this? I think I get experience for this.
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
Okay.
But she was not hell. She is the opposite of that. The wind of paradise, stripping away the covers from the hearts of men. There you stand, below her once more, with your hands on your side, momentarily at a loss as what to do with yourself.
Check out the glass. We just need 2 3s.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both.
What shattered this mosaic?
Unknown.
Who is this older woman?
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden rights apfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen Her Innocence Day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
The motto, what does it say?
Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, on human thinking. A tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death.
Lieutenant, they used to say, after life, death, after.
Death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however.
Why?
It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing.
As the RCM motto now.
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
I don't like either of them. Not very feminine.
Not at all.
Step back.
The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression.
This is Dolores Day.
Yes. I wasn't sure before, but this must be the Dolorian Church of Humanity in Martinez. It's called the Small Pinewood Church in some records.
You knew of the place.
It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Ravachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds.
Okie dokie.
Okidodo.
He whispers in silence of the great building.
A touch of absurdity there. Nice.
Oh, I thought I was talking to an encyclopedia. I knew. Fuck a fool. Okay, well, turn the place into a nightclub. It's so weird.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
About the church. I checked it out.
And? What happened?
I talked to the shadow-clad being climbing the beams, a man living on the ceiling.
Oh man, the crab man you mean? Who is he? What did you think?
Seemed okay, to be honest. Very spiritual.
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
Just preaching and praying, from the looks of it.
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him?
Actually, he told me he wouldn't mind the nightclub at all.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
Don't worry, I don't think he really cares about you or anyone else.
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light! Yeah!
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her?
Grandma's clothes. I guess I gotta go find her, huh? Well, talk to something about. I didn't see the other spooker, just some machines.
But she's in there somewhere. Has to be. Have you tried investigating the machines? Anyway, do let us know if you see her.
Okay.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
Yeah! What any responsible cop would do? It's what any responsible cop would do when said cop doesn't know how to progress the case. Kind of, shall we say, lost. Both figuratively and existential. And in reality. And any other words that I can throw out there that probably don't fit to make myself look sillier than I actually am. I don't mind being silly every now and then.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad.
Oh, smells really bad. Perhaps the case is more an art than a science. Perhaps a cop needs some inspiration. Can't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that at all. Need 5 more points.
The smell. It's awful and familiar.
What is it?
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear. The signs of decaying meat. It announces itself from 24 meters away. A warning, a memento mori.
Heads up, Lieutenant. Something's not right here.
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose. There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
How's the game? Heard good things about it? It's weird. That's honestly the best description that I have for this game. It's very weird. It's somewhere in between like a visual novel and a Western RPG, I guess. It's just very weird. Let's examine the tear.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic.
A tragedy.
Lieutenant looks in the can, eyes watering from the smell.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness.
And the cigarette package?
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content.
Good weird? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Kebab wrapper.
You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads, Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
Hold on.
The lieutenant squats next to the corpse and examines his face. 2 bulging eyes stare back at him, void of any signs of life.
Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is, he's been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
We need to investigate.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steal yourself.
Study the man's clothes.
He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest.
Search his pockets.
You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
Study the man himself.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark.
Examine his face.
His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his mustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, approximately 50 to 60 years.
Study the surroundings.
There's some dried blood on the metal bench. right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist.
Examine the man's head.
A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
No, just this one at the back of his head.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
On the floorboards.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile. You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him.
Examine the bottle.
A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Tear all around us.
He looks at two other bottles near the coin-operated viewer, then at your yellow plastic bag.
I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
True. It feels disrespectful.
Wow, man, he's been... Man, you're just watching me this entire time. Examine the chewing gum wrapper.
Rubowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Look in.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there. Solidified on his lower rear teeth.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is, I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
Step back.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Who is this man?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here.
Look south, the way you came.
But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
This is an omen, a sign from above. Don't start drinking again.
He looks like me. I could have ended up just like him, dead on some empty boardwalk with a bottle next to my corpse.
Well, at least you're not married.
The lieutenant points to the ring on the man's left hand, the flesh around it swollen and gray.
Or, what if you are?
But let's try to not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
And what about field autopsy?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me. I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work.
You're right, I don't see anything criminal here. Let's leave it at that.
Good call. The guys at processing can take care of the rest.
I don't know what I want to do here. I don't know at all. Leave the case for the station. I don't want to spend time on it.
Alright, the station is going to want details, however. Let's examine that library card you found on the man's body, see if it has any clues. Then we can call the station from my kinema and hand over the case.
Library card?
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member.
Consign. Now look at the backside.
Good. We've examined the library card. That should be enough for our colleagues. Now we can call the station from my kinema and hand over the case.
Alright.
The library card. Billy is whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinting Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours 900 to 1800.
We already decided to let the station handle this case, so there's no need for us to call the library.
Alrighty. I was trying to think if I really wanted to do the case, and it would certainly help pass the time, like the in-game time, but how much of that time is it really gonna pass? I don't know.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, tomorrow is just a whisper away.
I need to save and mark. Can't really ignore this one this time.